Hello everyone! Welcome to Beginner's Guide to Filecoin Chapter 3. In this video, I'll help you to better understand where is the concept of cryptocurrencies built from, what are the essential parts of ledger within Bitcoin, and how to ensure the currency has value. Here we go! Since this video is based on literature Bitcoin academic Pedigree by Arvind Narayana, so let me briefly introduce him to you. Arvind Narayana is an assistant professor of computer science at Princeton. He leads the Princeton Web Transparency and Accountability Project to uncover how companies collect and use our personal information. Narayana also leads a research team investigating security, anonymity, and stability of cryptocurrencies, as well as novel applications of blockchains. He co-created a massive open online course and textbook on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency technologies. Now, you might be more familiar with Arvind Narayana, so that you can better understand the further information illustrated from Bitcoin academic Pedigree. And that explains why we say concept of cryptocurrencies is built from forgotten ideas in this research literature. If you've read about Bitcoin in the press and have some familiarity with academic research in the field of cryptography, you might reasonably come away with the following impression. Several decades worth of research on digital cash, beginning with David Chaum, did not lead to commercial success because it required a centralized bank-like server controlling the system, and no banks wanted to sign on. Along came Bitcoin, a radically different proposal for decentralized cryptocurrency that didn't need banks, and digital cash finally succeeded. Its inventor, the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto, was an academic outsider, and Bitcoin bears no resemblance to earlier academic proposals. This article, Bitcoin's academic pedigree, challenges that view by showing that nearly all of the technical components of Bitcoin originated in academic literature of the 1980s and 1990s, as you can see in the figure on the right. This is not to diminish Nakamoto's achievement, but to point out that he stood on the shoulder of giants. Indeed, by tracing the origins of the ideas in Bitcoin, we can zero in on Nakamoto's true leap of insight, the specific and complex way in which the underlying components are put together. And this helps explain why Bitcoin took so long to be invented. By the way, Bitcoin's intellectual history also serves as a case study demonstrating and relationships among academia, outside researchers, and practitioners, and offers lessons on how these groups can benefit from one another. The idea of ledger is starting point for understanding Bitcoin. Ledger is a place to record all transactions that happen in the system, and it is open to and trusted by all system participants. Bitcoin converts this system for recording payments into a currency. Then, how can you build a ledger for use in an environment like the internet where participants may not trust each other? Let's start with the easy part: the choice of data structure. There are a few desirable properties. The ledger should be immutable, or more precisely, append only. That means you should be able to add new transactions but not remove, modify, or reorder existing ones. There should also be a way to obtain a succinct cryptographic digest of the state of the ledger at any time. A digest is a short string that makes it possible to avoid storing the entire ledger, knowing that if the ledger were tampered with in any way, the resulting digest would change, and thus the tampering would be detected. The reason for these properties is that, unlike a regular data structure that's stored on a single machine, the ledger is a global data structure collectively maintained by a mutually untrusting set of participants. This contrasts with another approach to decentralized digital ledgers, in which many participants maintain local ledgers, and it is up to the user querying the set of ledger to resolve any conflicts. Here are several essential parts included within the ledger: linked timestamping, Markov trees, and Byzantine fault tolerance, and proof of work. At any rate, Bitcoin borrows only the data structure from Harbor and Stornata's work and re-engineers its security properties with the addition of proof-of-work scam described later in this video. In a simplified version of Harbor and Stornata proposal, documents are constantly being created and broadcast. The creator of each document asserts a time of creation and design the document, its timestamp, and the previously broadcast document. This previous document has signed its own predecessor, so the documents form a long chain with pointers backward in time. An outside user cannot alter the timestamp message since it is signed by the creator, and the creator cannot alter the message without also altering the entire chain of messages that follows. Thus, if you are given a single atom in the chain by a trusted source, like another user or a specialized timestamping server, the entire chain up to this point is locked in, immutable, and temporarily ordered. Further, if you assume that the system rejects a document with incorrect creation times, you can be reasonably assured that the documents are at least as old as they claim to be. Bitcoin essentially uses the data structure in Haber and Stornata's 1991 and 1997 papers, shown in simplified form in Figure 2. Of course, in Bitcoin, transactions take the place of documents. In each block's Markov tree, the leaf nodes are transactions, and each internal node essentially consists of 2 pointers. This data structure has 2 important properties. First, the hash of the latest block acts as a digest. A change to any of the transactions which is leaf nodes will necessitate changes propagating all the way to the root of the block and the roots of all following blocks. Thus, if you know the latest hash, you can download the rest of the ledger from the untrusted source and verify that it hasn't changed. A similar argument establishes another important property of the data structure, that is, someone can efficiently prove to you that particular transaction is included in the ledger. This user would have to send you only a small number of nodes in the transactions block, as well as small amount of information for every following block. The ability of efficiently prove the inconclusion of transactions is highly described for performance and scalability. Linked timestamping alone is not enough to resolve forks, as was shown by Mike Jest in 1998. The requirements for an internet currency without a central authority are more stringent. A distributed ledger will inevitably have forks, which means that some nodes will think blocking A is the latest block, while other nodes will think it is block B. This could be because of an adversary trying to disrupt the ledger's operation, or simply because of network latency, resulting in blocks occasionally being generated near simultaneously by different nodes unaware of each other's blocks. In his original white paper, Nakamoto used some concepts referring to this protocol as a consensus mechanism and considering fault both in the form of attackers as well as nodes joining and leaving the network. This is in contrast to his exploit reliant on literature in linked timestamping and proof of work, which we will discuss next. When asked in mailing list discussion about Bitcoin's relation to the Byzantine generals problem, which is a thought experiment requiring BFT to solve, Nakamoto asserted that the proof of work chain solves this problem. Virtually all fault-tolerant systems assume that strict majority or supermajority, like more than half or two-thirds of nodes in the system, are both honest and reliable. In an open peer-to-peer network, there is no registration of nodes and they freely join the leave. Thus, an adversary can create enough Cybos or sock puppets nodes to overcome the consensus guarantees of the system. The Cybo attack was formalized in 2002 by John Dozer, who turned to a cryptographic construction called proof of work to migrate it. If you want more detailed information about Byzantine fault tolerance and proof of work, go check our Beginner's Guide to Filecoin Chapter 2. You won't be disappointed. Nakamoto's genius then wasn't any of the individual components of Bitcoin, but rather the intricate way in which they fit together to breathe life into the system. The timestamping and Byzantine agreement researchers didn't hit upon the idea of incentivizing nodes, nor until 2005 of using proof of work to do away with identities. Conversely, the authors of Hashcash, B-Money, and Big Gold didn't incorporate the idea of consensus algorithm to prevent double spending. In Bitcoin, a secure ledger is necessary to prevent double spending and thus ensure that the currency has value. And the valuable currency is necessary to reward miners. In turn, the strength of mining power is necessary to secure the ledger. Without it, an adversary could mass more than 50% of global mining power, and thereby be able to generate blocks faster than the rest of the network, double spending transactions, and effectively reward history overrunning the system. Thus, Bitcoin is bootstrapped with a circular dependence among these three components: secure ledger, valuable currency, and mining power. In general, the history described here offers rich and complementary lessons for practitioners and academics. Practitioners should be skeptical of claims of revolutionary technology. As shown here, most of the ideas in Bitcoin that have generated excitement in the enterprise, such as distributed ledgers and Byzantine agreements, actually date back 20 years or more. Recognize that your problem may not require any breakthroughs. There may be long-forgotten solutions in research papers. Alright, please subscribe to the channel of King Labs. More videos that you might be interested in are coming soon. See you in the next video. Bye!